Plaintiff Scott Hall and his wife Ann rented a house from the defendant. And soon after they moved in, she started harassing them and even threatened to burn their house down. They're suing for a rent refund, a security deposit, and harassment. Defendant Megan Mathis says everything was fine with the plaintiffs until Ann posted derogatory comments about Megan online. She's countersuing for defamation and unpaid rent.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you all.
We moved to Missouri in January from Wisconsin, a big decision we made in life. I paid 6 months up front with rent. When we got there in March, she started sending harassment messages and
Let her
vulgar
finish. Don't
messages.
say a word until she's finished, all right? We're not going to do this. I read and you all have been putting restraining orders against each other, threatening each other and all this. So you're not going to come in here doing all of that, interrupting each other, clowning and fussing and arguing and all of that. Go ahead, ma'am. What were you saying?
So she texted me one night and said she was going to burn the house down.
Let's start with you renting from her and how that went. The agreement you all had and how was your tenancy from the first few months?
We signed an 18-month lease. We were there 4 months and she applied for an eviction, but we decided to move due to the harassment and the threats that were coming from her.
When did you move in?
We moved in January 7th.
So in April, you decided to leave?
April 27th, yes, because they said that was the best thing to do instead of going to court.
What had gone on before that, between January and April?
She got kicked out of her place in Jefferson City, so she wanted her place back because she was renting. And then she wanted her own property, which she wouldn't have to pay rent on. She wanted her own property back.
When did she tell you that?
It was actually through a call in March.
She called you in March and said, I'd like to get my property back from you guys.
Yes.
And was there a discussion that there's a lease that would prohibit that?
I did say I had an 18-month lease.
What'd she say?
It was up to her discretion if she wanted to break it.
That's what she told you?
Yes.
All right, and the harassment that caused you to leave, that had to happen between March and April?
Yes.
All right.
March 24th to be exact, sir.
Okay, what started that? Now you can start there.
She wanted to come in the house and look for mold and check the furnace. She was bringing somebody COVID positive into the house. I worked in healthcare and hospice. I was sad, I'm not allowing it, plain and simple. I even said I would call the police if she tried. She said, go ahead and do that. Nobody's gonna stop me. I did call the police, I did file a report. They said that they couldn't do anything as a civil matter to file for a restraining order. I did do that.
Okay.
The judge told us it was landlord-tenant issues, be adults and go talk about it.
Right.
We walked out of the courtroom and my husband said, let's talk about this. She screamed for the guards. She's like, guards, help me. We didn't even do anything wrong. The guards came running, they told us to leave. My husband said, we will wait for you outside to speak about this. She had the guards escort her out to the car. She went back and filed the same day that we were just dismissed, the restraining order. She filed for one against me and my husband.
Mm-hmm. Saying what?
A restraining order saying we were harassing her.
All right. You have the restraining order there with you today?
I do.
What page is it in my evidence?
Mine that I filed against her is on page 9.
All right, and it should be able to tell me. Yeah, I need to see what the allegations were. And it says he was granted because stalking. All right. Landlord stalking, that's what it says. All right. And was a hearing held after this was filed?
Yes, it was.
In 30 days, and what was determined at that hearing?
They dismissed it due to landlord-tenant. They said we need to work it out, we're adults.
Okay, got it. All right, and then let me allow her to begin her side now. Ma'am?
Yes, I posted my property on Facebook Marketplace. Anne is the one who, she was somebody who responded to it. So they asked if they could come see the property, said that they could. They had mentioned that they had housing authority, that they would be transferring in from Wisconsin. Said they wanted to be closer to family, said they had 2 kids. So that kind of tugged on me because I am a teacher and everything I do revolves around kids. So COVID going around, was not per se excited about using the housing authority because I've heard horror stories about the tenants that they don't, treat your property the best, and you have to really do a good, thorough job of the background check. But I know COVID hit hard, and I know people wanted to be close to their family. So we agreed on the lease. They had paid 6 months, said they could pay 6 months up front until the housing authority could transfer their paperwork. Felt like that was fair, so they paid the 6 months, had not received the paperwork for several months. It was probably April, May when I got the paperwork. Noticed that Anne had called me before I got the paperwork because I actually had to go get the paperwork from them. In the process,
Let me stop
Anne
you there.
had...
Before the paperwork came, had you told them you wanted to live in your
No,
property?
sir. I work in Just City, but I live in Columbia.
Okay, so you never said I just
No,
want my
sir.
property back.
No,
All
sir.
right, go ahead.
So it started then, took the paperwork home, and had sent a text, which is actually on, I do believe, page 24 of the evidence, saying, hey, can you please let the housing authority know that rent, 24 is when we agreed that they'd be out May 1st. It will be May 1st due to me not lying to you at all, which was in regards to is the paperwork. She was asking me to file fraudulent paperwork on the housing authority.
She called you in March and said, I'd like to get my property back from you guys.
Yes.
And was there a discussion that there's a lease that would prohibit that?
I did say I had an 18-month lease.
What'd she say?
It was up to her discretion if she wanted to break it.
She told you?
Yes.
Defendant Megan Mathis is being sued by her former tenants, who claim Megan called them racial slurs and threatened to burn their house down.
Ma'am, did you ask her to file fraudulent
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Okay, and she refers to a text where it says, it will be May 1st due to me not lying to you at all?
She said that I had 2 dogs there, and I did not have 2 dogs.
All right, so it had nothing to do with the paperwork?
No, it did not, Your Honor.
Okay.
It had to do, they added 2 people actually, so if you see the lease, which is 2, where it says that it was just them and their 2 kids.
Okay, first we were talking about the paperwork for housing.
From the housing,
now
yes.
we're skipping to something else?
Well, no, just so you can refer to that it was just Anne and her husband and her 2 kids and
What
their
does that
dog.
have to do with the paperwork for
Their
the housing?
paperwork, they added 2 people, 2 adults.
On the paperwork?
On the paperwork, yes, sir.
Okay, and you didn't sign on to this, obviously.
I had not. I actually reached out to Ann and Scott and asked them what those 2 individuals were, who were they. I did not agree upon that. They said
So how does that become relevant?
So the lease, and then with Ann asking me, so on page 15, you'll see we are at Housing Authority, and they said we don't qualify for $1,300. So when we fill out the paperwork, will you put $1,000, and we will pay you an extra $300 to you.
All right,
So
that's
we
what you
qualify.
mean by scamming.
Yes.
Okay.
And so at the time, I did not do my due diligence, and knowing, I told her yes, I would.
Did you do it?
Well, once I got the paperwork, I noticed that there was nowhere on page 5
What was
for
your
me to break it
answer
down.
when they asked you to do it, ma'am? How did you answer that? Did you say, I will?
I said I will because
Okay,
I thought
so
there
you
would be
agreed, whatever the reason, you agreed to the
Well,
scam.
I thought there would be
so let's not make reference to the scam.
No, I thought there would be a place for me.
You participated in it.
No,
you
sir.
told her yes. She asked.
Because I thought there would be a place. I did not do my due diligence, so I thought within the paperwork that I have to fill out as a landlord, I could put, yes, I agree that the housing authority will pay $1,000 and that the tenant would be responsible for the other $300. That was my understanding. Not that I was going to scam. And so if you look at 5, I actually put it in there, $1,000 from housing authority, $300 from tenant. So And so when I was like, that doesn't seem right, so let me call. And then with the 2 extra added names, I called Housing Authority. I then contacted Ann and Scott, and they said Scott actually mentioned that Housing Authority added the names, that nobody even went into the office. And I said, you know, how about we all go down to Housing Authority to figure this out? This is my first time working with Housing Authority, and so I'd like to get this settled. So no, I did not agree to fraud.
And so what happened?
Then that's when the harassment, that's when the messages on Facebook saying that I harassed them.
No, in terms of the legal process.
So the legal,
you said, let's go down to the Housing Authority.
They wouldn't go. They wouldn't
so
go.
Did you give them an eviction? She said you started an eviction process.
I did not. I did not start eviction at that time because we had agreed that they were going to be out at the end of the 6 months.
Okay.
We had agreed upon the date. They had paid for the first 6 months. So at the end of that 6 months, which would have been the end of June.
And so what happened then? Were you satisfied with that response?
I was satisfied with that until I started to get, my mother called, my dad called and said, you know, Megan, what are you doing? And I was like, what are you talking about? There's messages all over. It's a program called Nextdoor.
When?
I want to say it was in about April. It was a program called Nextdoor. It's where you can say local plumbers, this kind of thing. And you can say, you know, if you need a plumber, a babysitter, or whatever. So I find out that Ann had posted stuff on this website.
Asking for what?
Didn't ask me for anything, but then said that I was outside of the house all times of night, calling them cracker and other derogatory marks. First of all, my car is
And
fully
you have
wrapped.
evidence of that? What
Of
page?
what she posted, I do.
Yes, ma'am.
It's page 41. And
What
so,
did you want to say, ma'am? I'll let you resume.
I did post it because I asked for advice. I said, what do I do? I need help here. We can go and talk
Good
to another
enough. What
person.
happened in June? I'm sticking with facts and not.
She
that
evicted, she
relate
went
the
to,
eviction.
yeah,
part.
well, first it started with the text messages and the harassment.
When?
March 24th. It's on page 44, Your Honor.
But you had already told her you were moving?
Yes, in June, I told her I would go in
You
June.
said I'll be leaving in June.
Yes.
So what am I to see on page 44?
She said very rude stuff to me, and this is what made me go beforehand, because on page 45, she threatened to burn the house down with my children in it.
And I will be coming by the house tomorrow with the contractor. We will be there at 5:30.
That was about letting her in with somebody that had COVID.
Nope. Sorry, I will not be here. I'll be at work. I work until 7. And why are you coming? Scott said he would take off work, so someone is here, but I would like to know what you are coming for. Yes, she should tell you that. I'm having someone look at the house. She says, I just have to give 24-hour notice. You don't need to be there. That has nothing to do with you. We will be there at 5:30. It will be like someone is there. She says, I just have to give 24 hours notice. Correct. Rent has nothing to do with me bringing in someone to look at the house. If you would like the police there, that is fine as well. This is what she's saying, in case you're worried. I guess she's saying that she's going to take something or whatever you're worried about. You say, not when she was exposed and in quarantine. Got it. We can get the police involved if you like, but you have every right to be concerned about that. That's fine. You can call the police. This is harassing. Just give me 24 hours notice. That's fine. If you don't wear a mask in that home, didn't ask you to, yeah, you all are fighting over something that is, shouldn't be fought over. You had every right to refuse her on that, ma'am.
The judge told us it was landlord-tenant issues, be adults and go talk about it.
Right.
We were. We walked out of the courtroom and my husband said, let's talk about this. She screamed for the guards. She's like, guards, help me. We didn't even do anything wrong.
Defendant Megan Mathis is being sued by her former tenants, who claim Megan called them racial slurs and threatened to burn their house down.
So good luck. There's no safety issue. You cannot enter. You better go back to school. This is you telling her to go back to school. All right, here go the insults. So first you tell the woman to go back to school. And I don't know what you thought she would say to you. She shouldn't have used a racial slur. But what this appears to say, listen here, you white bee. I am coming in my house whenever I want, and you can keep sending me messages. I will get you for slander. You're going to give a woman a hate speech, and then you go tell her about slander. All right? I don't care if you have any
Cover all
numbers on
bases.
speed dial. All right, so you're arguing about that. You all have a legitimate argument there. I must give it to you. Ooh, girl, I'm sorry, not ma'am. I'm sorry. Oh, ma'am. I don't mean to call you a
Sir,
girl,
can I
but you little white, see? How dare you even post anything that is said to you? Okay, it's because she posted your stuff. You got upset. All right, but you got to stop all this.
But can you read the
I'm
next
telling
one?
you all this name calling, ma'am.
I am half white is what she didn't realize at the time. My mother is white, so I'm half white. So to call her a white this or white that or racial
Yeah, that
slurs,
right, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
me said, but if you read,
I don't know the new rules in that area. I know when you're half and half. I don't know the rules.
Right,
But I
but
know
that
one
would-
rule. If you are the direct opposite, you cannot say that.
Well, no,
And
I
if
did
you
not,
are the
sir.
same, 100% perhaps, or nearly one, majority the same, then yes, white folks can say that to white folks, black folks can say in to black folks. The opposite race can't say that
was
to each
never
other
said, Your
because
Honor.
if they're saying that to each other, it's in a negative connotation and it's
Absolutely.
degrading them and it's
Absolutely.
trying to hurt them using racial words. So if that's you say the New Deal is that, I don't know.
No,
I
I'm
can't
saying
keep up.
it never happened. So if you look at my page 41.
I just read that it happened. What are you talking about? I
there
read
is
it.
no.
You said it didn't happen.
she-
What didn't happen?
She went
What
through an
didn't
app.
happen?
Those messages I didn't send.
Oh, somebody else sent them?
There's an app out that you can actually do that.
Yeah,
So
and I
if
phone
you
records.
Well,
read,
hold on. So why are you making this explanation?
Because
about
I'm
you?
just
Be
saying-
quiet and listen, because I don't believe you. I believe you did it, and now I'm about to throw you out. Why are you making you laughing? It's not funny. Your case is
No, it's
dismissed.
not.
I believe you're lying about race. I believe you said it.
but no, I said I would never
Talk
say
over me
that
all you
because
want
I
on
am
the way out
half
the
white.
door. Talk
I
on the
would
way out the
never
door.
say
Bye.
that because I
Judgment
am.
for the plaintiff. Have a good day. You're out of here. Your claim is dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
No, that they're piece of people, and they know I didn't say that. I was saying that I would never make that comment because I am part white. So somebody that's a scam artist got over again.
Plaintiff Troy Davis was married to the defendant, but he claims he left her because she was prostituting, and he has the proof in court today. Troy is suing his wife today for property damages and a stolen laptop. Defendant Alejandro Lewis insists when she married Troy, she was not a prostitute. And all those nights when she came home late, it was because she was caring for her ailing mother. She's countersuing for defamation and pain and suffering.
Start with you, sir.
I do love this woman. I do care about her, but due to the prostitution, the lies, the deceit.
Oh, okay. You are in love with her, though?
I still do love her. I still do love her. I just don't
What a
want
beautiful thing. Now, why are you suing her? Why are you in here suing her if you love her? Whoa.
That's right.
What happened?
Somebody but don't want to see her.
This is your ex-wife. Tell me about your relationship over the years.
We met 20 years ago, and then we reconnected. She reconnected with me on Facebook, and it was like, it never had left before. And we jumped into it real quick, I think, without really getting to know each other the best way we could, and we got married real quickly, and then no problems just started happening.
After reconnecting and dating, how long after that did you all get married?
I want to say about 6 or 7 weeks.
6 weeks? All right. When was that?
We got married on May 4th of 2020.
And how has that gone? How did it go?
It was fine in the very beginning, but then just little things that we had discussed that weren't going to go on in the relationship just continued to linger on, and to the point to where it came down to the point in September, I was just like, I'm just completely done. I don't want to be part of this relationship anymore, and that's when I changed the locks on the house.
Hold on. Why didn't you
And-
want to be? What went wrong with the relationship? You're not really
It was
saying.
just some lies that were being told, and I was waiting for her to tell the truth, and she never wanted to tell the truth.
He was imagining things.
Waiting on what truth? Waiting on her to tell the truth about
Wait on the truth about what she was doing out on the street.
while you were dating her or in the past?
I was taking care of my mother because she was sick and she needed me at the time.
Okay.
But she passed away in December 2020.
That's what he's talking about, you think, ma'am?
Yeah, well, he thinks that I was doing something, but I wasn't. I was taking care of my mother.
Okay. What do you think she was doing? What are you alleging?
She was coming in consistently at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. Her mom lived with us, and her mom went to bed at 9. She wasn't over there doing that because I said I got a little app off of TikTok and put it on her phone, and it showed me that she wasn't always constantly where she said she was going to be at. I'm not trying to say that she did not take care of her mom some days, but there's a lot of days that she wasn't where she said where she was.
Okay, well, she needed a break. Caretakers do need a good old-fashioned break. And that's one of the most stressful jobs and responsibilities that you can have.
5:30 in the morning.
I had to drive from another town. I leave my mom's house at 12, sometimes 1, and I drove to a different city. It'd take an hour to drive there. But that's not even the point. That's not what we're going through. I want to.
You the one brought your mom up, ma'am. It's only a point because you put her in.
I did have to take care of her. He thinks that I was doing something else, but
I know, but I'm saying you're trying to move on from the conversation, saying that's not even the point when you're the only one that brought that point up.
I love this woman. I do care about her, but due to the prostitution, the lies, the deceit.
Oh, okay. You are in love with her, though?
I still do love her. I still do love her. I just don't want to.
Beautiful thing. Now, why are you suing her? Why are you in here suing her if you love her?
Defendant Alejandra Lewis is being sued by her husband, who claims he left Alejandra after he discovered she was prostituting.
What are you alleging she was doing?
The same thing that we discussed, the prostitution and dating other guys and entangling with other people for money.
You said she was prostituting while you all were married?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it on the evidence that she admitted to me. And one of the texts is that she did do it.
No, I didn't. I never said that.
When and how did you all break up? Tell me about the breakup.
We broke up. I changed the locks in September, and then that's when the police made me let her back.
Why did you change the locks? What occurred? What incident occurred?
It occurred because I was just done with the whole relationship, and I was telling her I'm very, very unhappy. I want to be done with the relationship. You know what I mean? Done. Period.
And why didn't you just leave then? Why did you have to change the locks?
It was my house. I lived there first.
I understand that, sir, but when people are married, until you determine the final disposition of the house, because who knows what that might be from a judge during the divorce, you don't put the woman out on the street. I'm telling men now, in my opinion, I advise, I don't care who owns the house, until the final divorce decree, leave the house. I know some men put their wife and children out. When they get a separation before the divorce. You move. Is that bad on you? You move out. And then file for divorce. Wait till the divorce is over. The judge will tell you who has to do what, and then follow the judge's ruling. But I'm just not for that. I'll tell men. I don't care if you bought the house before you met the woman, before you got married, you pay the majority of the mortgage. They don't have no money. They don't even work. I pay $2,000 a month. So what? You're the man. We don't put this woman out here in the street. Just you leave and then come back when the judge rules for you. And in fact, let me tell you, that's illegal. That's illegal to lock your wife out unless a judge tells you you can do that. You just can't up and say, no, that's marital property. And then the judge decides who gets and who does and who has to be locked out. But okay, let me get some background from you. I just wanted to let men know in particular that part. But give me some background from you, ma'am. Yes,
well, me and Troy, we dated 20 years ago, and then for about 2 years. And then we reconnected on Facebook, April 2020. We got married May 4, 2020. And when I got married to Troy, I was not prostituting. He was imagining things. I came home late because I left my mom's house late. And this was like every day. Sometimes I had to take her to the hospital, and I had to wait to see if I was going to bring her back home or something.
Would you tell him that by phone?
Yes, I did. Every time
I say, hey, baby, I'm going to be home at 5:30 because mama this, mama that. And what would he say?
Yeah, sometimes when I came, he would trip. Sometimes he didn't.
No, not come home. When you called him and explained
I called him. He didn't say anything. He accepted it. Okay. Sometimes he wouldn't reply back to me. I would text it to him, and sometimes he replies, sometimes he wouldn't. But he knew every time I was coming home late, he knew. I told him if he think I'm doing something else, just come with me. Because he could have did that. He just chose not to. He'd rather imagine I was doing something. So I wasn't going to argue about it because I was going to take care of my
You didn't try to go with her once?
No, I didn't.
No.
I was going through hip surgery. I was about to start out hip surgery. I wasn't able to sit in the car all that time.
All right.
He tossed my stuff in the second room all the time. He'll just get the big idea when I'm not even there. He'll just toss it in the room. Every time he did it, he lost something or broke something. But, he just put his hands on my stuff at will. And I couldn't touch his stuff, though, because, I asked him not to touch my stuff, to respect my stuff. He would not. And he choked me. That's why I put a hole in his TV, because he choked me. Okay. And he drugged me out the room by my neck. And then I put a hole in the wall and broke the mirror because he locked me out the house with all my stuff in there.
Okay. And all this started in September?
That's when he locked me out, in September.
Defendant Alejandra Lewis is being sued by her husband, who claims he left Alejandra after he discovered she was prostituting.
So you were locked out on that particular day, he admits, and then what happened that day that you were locked out?
That's the day when I was trying to talk to him about locking me out. He was like, it doesn't matter. He don't want to hear it. Don't even want to discuss it. I was just going to be locked out. So I said, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to go tear your house up right now. And he said, go do what you got to do. So I got a hammer and I put holes in the wall and I broke the mirror.
What's the part about him assaulting you? When did that occur?
That was in December. This is after my mom passed. I came home late because I was doing something with my brother, for my brother, because I was still taking care of him. And I came late, and Troy he was just mad that day, I guess. I don't know what was wrong with him. And I was in the bedroom trying to get ready to get in the bed, and he started choking me. He picked up my sewing machine and tossed it in the second room. And so I said, I'll get out the room. Oh, he didn't want me to sleep in the room that night. I said, I'll get out. I'll sleep on the couch, but I broke his TV when I did it. And then he told me if I don't replace his TV, I got to go. So I replaced his TV. And then he still proceeded to have his aunt come serve me with a restraining order paper to kick me out. So I took the TV back.
Okay. I'm more interested in this assault. Did you file a police report about him dragging?
No, I didn't call the police, but I should have, because he called and lied and said that I guess I was just crazy, and that's how he got the restraining order against me.
You forgave him and you all came back together after that?
I thought we were going to get back together, but not when I just got released from jail on April 29. And when I got out, I found out he had a restraining order against me and that he filed, so I can't go there. And he wants me to come over and stuff, and I can't because he has a restraining order.
Okay.
I think he's trying to set me up.
So let me get my dates right. September of 20 is when you came home and the locks were changed?
Yes.
And that's when the damage occurred by you as retaliation. And then December was the assault. And then April is when you came home from release.
Yes.
And did you all try and reconcile?
That's what we were talking about while I was in jail. We were supposed to be reconciling and getting a marriage counselor. But when I got out, I found out he had filed a restraining order against me, and I couldn't go there.
All right, sir, let me hear from you. Let's start with December. September 20.
She came home and she was basically, are you going to give me the key back? And I basically wasn't responding to anything that she was saying. There was no argument. There was no nothing. I wasn't responding. Then she cut the cord on the fan. And that's when she said, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to start tearing your stuff up. And that's when I still didn't say anything. And then she went there and she got the hammer. She put the hole in the wall. Then she went and broke the mirror. And then that's when she ran out the house and got in her car and ran the garage. That's how that whole situation went down.
What happened in December? December,
I was just like, things were, like I said, I was already told I was very unhappy. All I said was, go sleep on the couch. I don't want to sleep in the same bed with you.
Why did you suddenly say, I don't want to sleep with you tonight? What happened?
The relationship was already over. I was already telling her I was very unhappy. And I did not want to be in this relationship anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she was coming home whenever she decided to come home. She wasn't coming home every night, Your Honor.
Okay.
She was
And
coming home
you
with-
allege she was out there prostituting, right?
Look at pages 16 through 22.
Was that some type of conviction for prostitution? What is it?
It's her ad, and she admits it in a text message that she did it. That she was out there, she
so
did it.
long ago, I explained to Troy before we got married that I used to post online and did that. But after we got married, I quit doing it. I said, Troy, you want me to change my number? He said, no, don't change the number. Just don't answer the texts. So I didn't. I do not prostitute. He called my brother at 3 a.m. telling him I was at the motel prostituting and I'm using drugs. And he knows that's not true. He was telling my cousin that I sent her to get my car because Troy said he was going to put it on the street. And he started texting her, telling her I'm a big liar. I don't never keep my word and all this stuff. My cousins know me. My brother knows me.
Defendant Alejandra Lewis is being sued by her husband, who claims he left Alejandra after he discovered she was prostituting.
I don't see the dates on this. For example, you showed me a couple of them.
There's a text message where she admitted while we were married.
No, I'm talking about the ones with the pictures where she's advertising her services.
Pulled it off the website 4 days ago.
It was still posted 4 days ago?
It's still up 4 days ago.
Ma'am?
I haven't posted it. It posts probably automatically. I don't know how it does it. I haven't got online and posted it, and I don't know how. Since we've been married. Before we got married.
That was 4 days ago. Then the text is where she admits it to me. That she did
I'm
do
not
it.
admitting that.
Caters to.
You're lying.
Ain't no paraphrasing this. It would embarrass her, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that was in the past, and he tries to think he can put me down, but I let him know that I don't feel any less of a woman, but I'm not doing that anymore. So I told him I wasn't doing it anymore. He needs to quit lying and living by this. I don't know what he tells himself, but I didn't even act like I was doing that anymore.
Not even every now and then?
Well, maybe once. But it was $2,200 involved, so I had
You say you couldn't take it, John. I couldn't walk away from that. We together on that. Hey, if that's what I used to do, let me think things I used to do, and if it came easy all of a sudden at a much higher proportion, let me think. All right, say I'll just use some of the lightweight stuff. If I'm flipping 3-car money,
Right.
and I used to do that at college, flip 3-car money and make me a little college change. Then I stopped. But I guess right now, if I had a sucker that was gonna put up 10,000, I might flip that 3-car money right now. So I'm with you. Hey, I have a flashback for 10.
Yeah.
On some lightweight stuff. I ain't heard nobody. I guess y'all heard somebody counting them out their little college money. Now, what page are the? All right, I ain't turned no tricks while I was with you, except for that $2,200 one. And that was nothing. Hey, and that was nothing personal. I had to get that. But that's what you get for going through my phone, kicking me out of the home. You begged me to come stay with you.
Yeah.
You so closed-minded, and only how you feel is important. I told you we need counseling while I was in jail. You acted like you wanted to fix our marriage, but you were sneaking around filing. I ain't turned no tricks while I was with you, the same thing. All right, and so that night, tell me about the alleged assault that she's making reference to.
There was no alleged assault. We were tussling over her things, and then she thought her sewing machine broke, and then she broke my TV. There was no assault at all.
You choked me.
I heard this plenty of times from her. Plenty of times.
You know you choked me. Now you didn't choke me. I got you on tape.
There was no assault at all. I got a recording of you on my phone.
You never put your hands on her, sir?
No.
All right, and you say you have some evidence? or
Well,
something?
yeah, I didn't submit it as evidence, but I recorded.
What's your
But he knows
defamation?
he did that.
What's your defamation claim for? I know your pain and suffering is
Yeah.
for an assault that he denies and you don't have evidence of. What's the defamation? Maybe you have evidence?
I got evidence of him texting my brother at 3 a.m. telling him I'm at the motel prostituting and using drugs.
Where is that?
And that's page 1. My cousin wrote a statement that he was texting her saying I'm a liar, I never keep my word, and all kind of just crazy stuff. And she said she just stopped texting him because she immediately thought he was crazy.
I don't text nobody in your family.
All right. Okay, well.
Period. All I did was
You're
text
lying,
your
bro.
brother that one time because I was concerned
And you
about
text my cousin,
going
too.
back
Hold
down
on,
to
what
what
did you
was
say to her
before. That
brother,
was
sir?
it.
What did you say to
I
her?
don't talk to nobody.
What did you say to her brother? You say you texted, what did you
I said
say?
I did do that one time. That's it, but I don't speak to nobody else in her family.
Defendant Alejandra Lewis is being sued by her husband, who claims he left Alejandra after he discovered she was prostituting.
You allege she was a prostitute and used drugs and a liar. You told her brother that. It's your burden to prove that since you said it, and then she'll have to prove that it wasn't true. But you have to give me some evidence that it has some sort of truth to it. Well, she did say that 2000, ma'am. You did say that.
That was one
two,
time,
three
and
things
that's
that were
all.
supposed to stop when we got married that never did.
I wasn't with Troy
Drugs
at
and
the time
prostitution,
he
she was
texted
supposed
my
to go back
brother.
in
This
and
just
get
did
back in
this like,
discussion. None of those three things
this was
happened.
about 2 weeks
Got
ago.
it. How about drugs, sir?
Yeah.
Evidence of drugs. What do you...
I don't have no evidence of it.
Tell me then. Try to convince me. You can't just make...
It's happened in our own house before.
What? What drugs? What has she
Smoking
done?
crystal meth.
Pardon?
Troy
Like
is
that.
lying.
Tell me.
Troy
Just give
is
me an
lying.
instance that you witnessed. An instance.
She would come home, go in the bathroom, and be in there for 2 or 3 hours, and I would see the pipes. When she came home, she'd go straight to the bathroom, and I would see it.
And what would you say to her?
I didn't say anything. I just kind of just let it go out his ear because she told me she was going to quit, but it never ever did. And I used to have a problem back in the day, so I know sometimes you just can't go cold turkey. So I was just waiting for it to all end on its own, but it never ever did.
Okay, ma'am.
Your Honor, he just texted my brother this stuff. I wasn't even at his house, nowhere near his house. He uses drugs. That's why he wants to lie on me. He called my brother at 3 a.m. I was at the motel. He was trying to come get me and told me he was coming to pick me up and take me back to his house. And I refused to do that because of that restraining order. And he knows that his restraining order is in place.
All right. You all have divorced or not?
Not yet.
The final judgment hasn't come through yet.
This is joint property until the judge declares who is entitled to what. And until the judge determines whose property is whose at the divorce hearing or judgment or declaration, then we can't determine who is owed what in a marriage that still exists. That is determined at divorce.
I don't own the property.
Okay, tell the judge that, and he'll let you know how that'll work. Because some instances, even though you owned it, someone could come in and say, the new wife, even though you brought it in, it was raggedy, Your Honor. It was worth $20,000 when he brought that. I have home repair receipts for $80,000, Your Honor, while I fixed up his little $20,000 house he brought into the marriage by putting another $80 in it. So, Your Honor, I think I should get it all together. And he might say, you're right, and give us $60 on top of it. That's how that could go. I don't know how that's going to go. If it's pending in a divorce, it has to be decreed by a judge who pays what and who owns what. All right, and your pain and suffering, you haven't proven that assault. You just haven't. You got to give me something to go on, and you haven't.
Troy, you're going to sit here and lie and say you didn't choke me. You know that's the only reason that I broke his stuff is because he choked me, and he knows that.
Both your claims are dismissed. Tell it to the next judge. Tell it to the divorce judge. Both your claims dismissed, and you're entitled to keep talking all you like. All right, go ahead. Have a good day.
Troy shouldn't be coming up here trying to put my trying to lie on me for nothing. I'm not airing his dirty laundry out. I ain't talking about all them bottles of alcohol he hiding all over the house and stuff because he don't want his mom to know about it.